Hello, it's Dean Jackson. Welcome to the More Cheese, Less Whiskers podcast. And today we have Ashe Higgs with us from Tempe, Arizona. And Ashe runs a martial arts program called I Liq Chuan. And it's similar to many of the other martial arts. And when you listen to this episode, you're going to see as we kind of dig into the mechanics of it, that you start to look at the underlying structure, the underlying puzzle that we're trying to fill. And essentially what we looked at is that he has a location that he serves members through classes and private lessons. Now that is the mechanics, the logistics of what actually happens. And you can overlay everything that we talked about on any business that follows that model. It could just as easily be a fitness studio. It could be a after-school tutoring program. It could be a tennis instructor or a golf instructor or anything where the model is that you find people, you bring them into your environment, you let them experience what you have to offer, and they join to stay as a member and continue to use those services. And it's important that you understand the underlying limitations or constraints or goals for what we're looking for here. So it's really interesting where when we start out, sometimes we want to focus on what's the ad or what can we do to generate leads. And you'll see that the path to Profit Activator 2 goes through Profit Activator 5, understanding exactly what it is that you do to create that world-class experience, that dream come true for people, and Profit Activator 1 of who that is an ideal fit for. Once you understand those two things, then we can get to work on the rest of the before unit activators. So I think you're really going to enjoy this episode, no matter what business you're in.
Ashe Higgs.
Morning, Dean. How are you?
I am good. Is it Master Higgs?
No, just Ashe is fine.
Okay. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing well. Excited to be here.
I am too. So we're recording right now. We got the whole hour. Tell me all about what you got going on and what we can do.
Okay, so I'm involved with a martial art called I Liq Chuan, and we operate.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah, exactly. We operate at 3 levels. So we have local, national, and international, and I'm involved at all 3 levels. So at the local level, I teach my own classes here in Tempe, in Arizona. And I do a lot of weekend workshops at the national and sometimes international level. And I'm also on the management team that oversees all of the students and instructors around the world. So right now we have classes in about 20 different countries around the world. Probably half of those are in the Russian-speaking countries.
Oh, wow.
And so we've had sort of some explosive growth in the last 10 or 15 years, and we're getting ready to scale up again, probably in November, which right now I can't really discuss too much of that. But the problem is that a lot of that growth has been driven by the personal charisma of our worldwide chief instructor.
Okay.
So a lot of the other instructors have not been able to make a full-time living at I Liq Chuan, except for a few of our instructors in Russia and, of course, our worldwide chief instructor. And so what I'm trying to do is work here at the local level in Tempe to crack that sort of scale-ready algorithm that you talk about.
Okay.
And then be able to package that up and roll it out to all the other instructors around the world so that we can kind of change that situation for a lot of people.
Okay. So now say it slowly how you're saying it. What is it called again?
It's called I Liq Chuan. So it's a Chinese martial art, and it comes out of the Hakka community in Malaysia.
Okay. And so what does it resemble? Is it what's it closest?
If you have some, right, it's if I said it's more like Thai boxing than Tai Chi, but it's more like Tai Chi than Thai boxing. So it's kind of somewhere in the middle between those two. So we've had a handful of the instructors, including myself, who have fought competitively, full contact, and have done very well.
Right. So it's more punching and kicking than grappling.
Not really.
No. Okay.
Yeah. So the rule sets that I've fought under and that some of the other instructors is called Sanda. So it's like 3/4 MMA. So it's like punching, kicking, and stand-up grappling. And so like once somebody hits the ground, they'll stop the action there and stand everybody back up.
Okay, that's what I mean. It's upright, right? Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
But like I said, it has a lot of elements that are much more similar to, like in practice and common everyday practice, has a lot of elements that are much more similar to Tai Chi. And so the majority of the people who are involved in our classes aren't really interested in the actual fighting aspect. Most of people are for social reasons, for health, for that kind of thing.
Okay. Gotcha. So what is what's the reason that people are getting involved in it now? Like, what is it? You kind of mentioned it's not so much about the fighting, but about the
right. Well, that's one of the things that I was hoping to cover with you today was that second profit activator of kind of like getting some cookies together, because from listening to past episodes of I Love Marketing and also More Cheese, Less Whiskers, people get involved with I Liq Chuan. Really, what it boils down to is what you've called irrational passion.
It could be, right? But there could be some practical element to it too, right? We don't. So we'll kind of explore that a little bit. The pathway to Profit Activator 2 goes through crystal clear understanding of what you can deliver in Profit Activator 5 and who the ideal person for that is in Profit Activator 1. When we know those things, then we come into Profit Activator 2. So we're not starting with that, Okay. So, in order to get really the best results in Profit Activator 2 is really about tapping into an already existing desire. There's all of this that's going on. There's all the things that people, all the desires that they have. There's universal desires for things to like lose weight, make more money, save time, all of those things that are built in to us. And then there are sort of more specific desires, and if we understand what this is tapping into, then we can kind of move that desire to, put its attention on how I Liq Chuan can provide for that outcome that they're looking for,
Right.
So,
okay.
So what does it involve? Tell me let's just, because you're looking at creating this scale ready algorithm to take out. So let's just focus on your Tucson situation and to be able to say, what does that look like without, let's even just take away the fact that we're ornamenting it with this I Liq Chuan situation, and just say, what is the underlying mechanics of it? You've got a location that people are going to come to do something and pay you a certain amount of money, right? So that's and in that way, it's no different mechanically than any other type of business. So I just want to see like how the mechanics of it work. Do you understand what I'm asking? Like what the how? Well, let me go through it one at a time here. So you've got a physical location.
Uh-huh.
Okay, in Tucson, and
Tempe, yeah.
Tempe. Okay, sorry, I thought you were in Tucson. Sorry, in Tempe. So you've got one physical location there, and what does that look like? Is it like a dojo type of? Is it what I've got in my mind? Is there anything different or unusual about it, or is it a place where people come together?
Yeah, I mean, it's more or less just there's nothing very uniquely special about the location itself.
Okay, perfect. And when people come there, if I were looking at it at its peak, at your peak time, what are we seeing there? We're seeing a group of people. How many people are in do you do classes, or are people training individually, or are they coming at specific times?
It's both. So, right now I focus on, like small group classes and private lessons.
Okay. And what is a small group class?
Around a dozen.
Okay. Small groups, 12 people, and you do them at specific times.
Yeah.
How often, if somebody joins a group, are they joining your 8-week program, or are they?
Yeah, no, it's I usually bring people in through. So, like in my Profit Activator 3, I have a 2-week trial. So people will come in. And start on the 2-week trial, and they just roll right in. They just roll right into
monthly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not like a 6-week or 8-week program, and then they've got to re-sign up. You're getting them on a monthly stay as long as you want.
Yes.
Okay. And is it a belt-based program? Are you advancing with a white belt, yellow belt, like moving up
Similar. Yeah, we have student levels, and so those go like 1 through 11, and then we have like a parallel ranking structure for the instructors that's kind of built in to help teach like your fellow students, like right from not the very beginning, but from early on. And so those two ranking systems are like staggered. So like total, you could say there's like 20 student levels. Student and instructor levels.
Okay. And are they named like that? Level 1, level 2, level 3? Or are there?
Yeah, nothing fancy.
Is there any physical indication that one person is at a different level? Do they get stripes on their belt? Do they get the number?
Yeah.
Do they get their,
we do the stripes.
Okay. So they get stripes on their belt. So you just got to kind of count the number of stripes for somebody. It's not.
Yeah, and they're different colored. They're different colored.
Okay.
So it's like the first 4 levels are white stripes, and then when you go from 5 and above, you switch over to like a gold stripe, and the instructor levels are red stripes.
Okay. So white, gold, red on a black belt. Is that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And it's an interesting thing because there's I think that's some element of longevity, right? Of people advancing towards, if we're comparing other martial arts of people advancing towards a black belt, that's kind of standard, that in different martial arts, that's kind of the way we're conditioned societally to know that white belt is where you start and black belt is where you're ended up. And maybe most people know, yellow, orange, but then it gets all fuzzy. Where do you go from there? Probably most people don't make it past that, right?
Right.
I'm just sharing like the general perception of something, which is important because that helps us get the awareness level of what it is, right? Mm-hmm. So that's where I'm trying to help find the home for I Liq Chuan. Where does that fit for this, Mm-hmm. And so what makes it, a different thing than the other options that I have? If I'm going to take up martial arts, is it something that, if we were to, if we were to say, to rank the, awareness level, and I'll just go basically by my own awareness level, which I think might be in tune with everybody. I think everybody, if you said name a martial art, would probably be karate would be first, and jiu-jitsu maybe, and judo. So those are the big three mainstream wise, taekwondo maybe, and they all share that kind of belt system, right? Kids would understand that. But is your group of people 12? Are they? What do they look like? Who's in the room there?
Well, our sweet spot, like our demographic, is really like males aged like 35 to 55. Most of them are college educated, and they're either like in middle management somewhere, or they're in like a bodywork kind of capacity.
Okay.
And most of them have had like 5 or more years in another martial art. That's really like our sweet spot. So it's like the appeal for I Liq Chuan in general can be kind of like divided into 2 kind of categories. Either one is like the people that have like previous martial arts experience, and so like quite often I Liq Chuan is viewed sort of like as a master's level program for martial arts, because of some of the explanations that are given for like the refined body mechanics that are often absent. In a wider sense, the appeal is the Zen philosophy, because we put, and we kind of subtitle I Liq Chuan as the martial art of awareness. And so like Zen philosophy is a huge part of what we do and how we train and how we approach training. And so in a wider sense, that's where a lot of the appeal is also for people.
Mm-hmm. Of awareness. And what does that mean? How do you define what awareness means?
It is the attention in the present moment to be able to clearly recognize what is actually happening, like what is present in the moment. And so we started out with training from a point of contact with an opponent and within ourselves. So we're looking at like all the different qualities that are present, and then you expand it out from there. And so like my teacher, who's the worldwide chief instructor, he likes to say that like we're not training martial arts as a goal. So in other words, it's not necessarily about self-defense, but we're using martial arts as a tool to train like our attention and our awareness.
Okay, and that's an important distinction, right? Like I'm seeing a couple of things here when we're looking to see who this is most attractive to, is that element of it is could be an important distinction. So it's not really So you're saying 35 to 55 males. It's not really something that kids are getting involved in as their first martial art. It's something that would be more appealing to sort of next level advanced martial artists kind of thing.
Generally speaking, yes.
Okay.
They're working on developing a kids program, so they have a pretty robust kids program in Russia right now.
Mm-hmm.
But it hasn't been something that we've been able to scale like outside of Russia.
Okay.
And one of the things that I've been trying to work on is how to again, like package up the cookies so that there's a bit of a wider appeal, because the niche of experienced martial artists, is that are looking to go to like the next level is so small.
That's what I was just going to say, is that's what I see as a challenge for this, is that not only is it, limited kind of demographic, but limited to somebody who's sort of, it's a niche of a niche in a way, right? That it's not just, it's somebody who is moving over from another martial art. And so not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just, it is what it is, and it sort of creates some level of limitation, because you're just limited in the number of people who that would be appealing to. And so when you look at it right now, if you do these 12-person classes, how often does somebody come? How many times a week do they come if they're into this?
Yeah, it's multiple times per week, and then we do additional we'll do additional weekend trainings and retreats and things like that.
Yeah. And so you've got prime times, right, that people are coming after work or in the mornings before work?
It's after work, and then private lessons are and then private lessons are all scheduled by appointment.
Okay. And so what would a full practice look like, or a full dojo, or the optimized single unit here? If we're just to take Tempe, what would be, if we could just have it any way you want it, how many classes, how many members? Is that what you call them, or what would you?
Members is
okay.
It's fine.
So how many members would you have, and how much money do they pay?
Right now, I think under my current conditions, I think I could probably, if I maxed it out, I could probably handle somewhere between 80 to 100 members, because not everybody comes every class.
Yeah.
So that would probably equate to, somewhere about 30 or 40 people on the mats at any one time. And that's manageable right now for me as a solopreneur. Moving up into the future, we could always scale that and hire additional instructors and stuff like that.
Yep.
But under my current conditions, that would, probably somewhere between 80 and 100 total.
Okay. And what would that be revenue-wise? How much do people pay per month? Your tiered pricing, or is it all one level of pricing?
Right now my rates are pretty low. It'd be the $60 per individual on a monthly basis, and then they pay hourly for private lessons.
Okay. So $60 a month is what somebody pays just to be part of it, and they can come to all the classes if they wanted to that way?
Yeah.
Okay. And the private lessons, do you bill per hour on those?
Yeah, per hour.
Okay. And how much do you charge for those?
It's the same as the monthly rate, so it's 60 an hour.
60. Okay. Fair enough. And as that, how many of those would you do in an ideal world here?
Well, just trying to realistically manage like schedules and everything, I probably couldn't do more
That's
than
what we want to say. See, part of the thing, this is where some of this process, it's like, regardless of what you do, regardless that we could be talking about you as a massage therapist or a kickball instructor or a soccer school or equestrian or anything. None of that is really, what the essence of it, the underlying mechanics of it is that you've got a location that people who are interested in your thing are going to come and they join your membership program for $60 a month, take part in classes and take private lessons. The mechanics of that are what's important to really understand before it even matters that it's specifically I Liq Chuan or karate or whatever it is. So when we look at it, that you're the practitioner, right? You're the person who this is built around. And at this level, what you're looking to do is to create a full practice for yourself, right? And so you look at it that there's, that model, if you have at 100 people at $60, that's $6,000 a month would be the for the classes. This is the baseline membership. And then how many, if we're kind of creating your perfect scenario, your perfect world, right? We've got to imagine this exactly the way that you want it. This is part of it, is pushing the accelerator pedal and seeing, well, what does that actually look like? What if I had 100 people? That would mean that my classes are pretty much full all the time, and that how many hours of classes do you do? Do you do like are they just one class in the evening, or is it two class? Are they an hour? Are they just, what does that kind of look like?
Like right now, it runs about, like, total runtime is about 3 hours. Because we do.
So
like
it's one. They're coming for the evening. They're not coming in for not like a spin class where they're coming in for the 7 o'clock and then they're out and the next class is in for the 8 o'clock. It's like you're in for the evening, right? So you do those. I run like a boot camp style fitness class, the first, like about 45 minutes. And then general class starts, and not everybody comes for like the boot camp portion of it. So I gotcha.
Some people will come in, that starts at like 5:15. Yeah. And then we get that done by 6, and then people, that aren't interested in that or can't make it for that because of their work schedules will start coming in around 6 o'clock, and then that'll go until officially is over at 7:30, but quite often we'll go over until 8.
Okay. And you do that 4 nights a week?
Yes.
Yeah. And then on the weekends you do Saturday mornings or Sunday mornings? Sunday afternoons or
Sunday morning. Sorry.
Sunday mornings. Okay. And that's it. So there's 5 opportunities for people to come to class, kind of thing.
Yeah. So I've found that sort of limiting the number of classes actually works better because
of course. Why not? Yeah, it's good. Less moving parts, right? Get everybody in there. You're only splitting it up otherwise, right? No difference between coming at 6 o'clock or coming at 8 o'clock. It's just if the only option is 7, you're going to come at 7. So that makes sense. What about the private lessons? How many hours of private lessons would you like to have?
Realistically, I couldn't expect to do more than 2 hours a day. Yeah,
perfect. And that's good to know, right? Like when you look at it that way, that's, if you do 2 hours a day of private instruction, and you do that on, are you open at all on Fridays, or do you, is this kind of?
I mean, that would be where the private lessons would come in, like all the off days of when there wouldn't be class. If somebody wanted to schedule a private lesson, say my schedule is fairly flexible as far as like being able to arrange the private lessons.
Mm-hmm. And so it would be Friday, and you wouldn't envision, it's not something that somebody would like come in the middle of the day on a weekday. You're saying it would be you wouldn't envision doing a class and private lessons like during the day that way, because you're talking about working people. You're not working with, stay-at-home moms or anything like that. You're working these
right,
people.
No, but I mean, sometimes somebody would be, like say self-employed, that they're an attorney with their own practice, so their schedule is more flexible for themselves, and so in that case, then maybe we would schedule something in the middle of the day.
Right. Okay. Yeah, and that makes sense. So to get a picture of it, so you may see yourself having so maybe like 6 or 8 hours a week of private lessons would be ideal. Right.
Sure.
Okay. And so where are we now in terms of that sort of, if that's capacity, right? That's the constraint. That's what we're looking at. 100 people in 100 members and 8 private lessons.
Typically, at the moment, I'm only getting probably like 1 private lesson scheduled per week.
Okay, 1 private lesson. And how many members are you at right now?
Total is in the neighborhood of 2 dozen.
Okay.
And
okay. And so what do they, so we got some runway here, right? So we've got 24 members right now. And how long do they stay? Are they, do you have some churn, or is it once they're in there kind of with you for a long time? What's the lifetime value of a member?
Just right now, I'm calculating everybody's lifetime value at about $1,500, because there's we have the outliers that stay for a really long time.
Sure.
But so then the average ends up coming out to be about 6 months.
Yeah.
And that's pretty standard for like industry average. So it's like actually the majority of the people that are training with me now have been training with me for 3 or more years. But there's always the churn at the new level of where people come in and they say, it's not exactly what I thought it was going to be, and it's not for me.
Right. Okay. And so when you look at it right now, this is really clear to get this picture. And, we're talking about it like I want to keep, bringing it back that it's really the model that we're talking about right now, right? Like that. Right. You could just as easily be a massage therapist or anything that group tennis instruction, no different. That's the model here. It's constrained by the time and space that you have. So when we look at it right now, what is your best method of getting new people right now? Where do they come from?
At the moment, it's mostly through organic search and some word of mouth.
Okay.
So
what would the organic search be what are the words that people are looking for? I mean, is it that they're looking for I Liq Chuan specifically? I apologize if I'm saying it wrong or anything, but I don't know. That's part of the.
Yeah, it's close enough.
Okay.
Right now, I mean, I do have a percentage of people that are looking for I Liq Chuan specifically. Lately, for the last 18 months to 2 years, I've been working to expand my reach, or my potential audience. And so now more generally, people are just looking for a martial arts program in Tempe. So, and that's kind of the thing of where, as far as like trying to package up some cookies, it's like my experience over the last 15 years is that with the general population, when they first get involved in a martial art, they don't really care or know the difference between karate and judo and jujitsu. It's like they're just looking for a martial art.
Right.
And so then
I agree with you. I'm gonna say with something that may be true in that, and that's why they kind of go with the name they know in a way, right? That they're saying, yeah, okay, so I got it. Go ahead.
So now much more of the traffic that's coming to find me is all just searching for a martial arts program in Tempe.
Okay.
And so I've been, working to kind of put together, once I feel like it's like once I have the right cookies, I have the rest of my funnel in place that now I can start to go do like paid advertising on Facebook and such.
Yes. Right.
Because I've already got my Profit Activator 3 sorted out. I've got Activator 4 sorted out, and it works pretty well.
So explain those to me then. So what's your Profit Activator 3? How do you educate and motivate people? What goes on right now?
Yeah, so right now I try to funnel everyone into a weekly email newsletter that I spent about a year putting together. And so it's all just one actionable tip a week for, basically like stress management, recovery, sleep, nutrition, general fitness, general health and wellness tips, just to help people be able to like maximize their life experience in the 21st century.
Yeah.
And all the things that we need to know and how to navigate our lives in the 21st century, but aren't really generally known or understood.
Okay.
So then I have a super signature that I developed.
Nice. What I'm hearing.
I've been listening to you for a little while now, so I've been trying to put it all into action. And so just at the end of each of my weekly newsletters is the opportunity to take advantage of the 2-week trial. And so right now, I just put some of this stuff into play about 2 months ago. And so my sample size is really small, so we have to take that into consideration. But so far, it seems to be working pretty well. And, so it's like I developed like all the emails kind of in mind of like short, personal, and expecting a reply.
Nice.
And, so then from there, that, like I said, this is my, right now, my 2-week trial is my Profit Activator 4. And that seems to be working pretty well. It's like my conversion rate right now so far has been 100%, but like I said, my sample size is pretty small. So, but it's getting those, like I said, getting those cookies together that is my big missing piece, I think, to be able to start working on this like at a bigger level. Like I said, doing some paid Facebook advertising and such to trying to bring people into that funnel.
Yes, that's awesome. So when you look at it, that's all certainly part of it. It's so great that you've got a 2-week trial. It's great. What are the other cookies that you have on your super signature? So the 2-week trial.
Right. At the current time, that is the only one. I'm going to be expanding my services pretty soon to include like some one-on-one like nutritional coaching. That some of that stuff is like I'm going to develop like an online coaching practice that will help people, like if they want to just lose weight and stuff like that, is going to expand that.
That's confusing, though, in a way. That's different. That's a different thing than than the core thing that we're talking about here, right? And that's kind of the same, but again, the mechanics are the same, right? Whether you're bringing people to a weekly or a monthly, if you look at it, and I'll say this is like for anything that you're doing, it's just that the wrapper that you're putting on the mechanics of this is I Liq Chuan. You could it could be the same model here, and this is where it's important to understand what's drawing it here. So you could it could be the same thing if you had a grow your business club where it's $60 a month and you can come to classes and you can learn entrepreneurial stuff and that kind of thing in that same location. It's the same. It's the general idea of finding people who are committed to a long-term direction, which could be the thing, the I Liq Chuan, and introducing new people into that at a rate that's going to get you up to your 100 people who stick. So in order to do that, they have to be getting the outcome that they're looking for. And for some of them, it's something how would you rate the sort of benefits that they would say that they get from it? Is it like, what boxes is it ticking? Are these people considering I Liq Chuan as part of their health and fitness? Is it part of their hobby, like their interest thing, their discipline practice kind of? Where does it? What kind of slant could you put on these? Like, would you say that it's ticking a fitness box for people?
Yes, and so that's kind of is some of the problem too. Is like where the picture is kind of muddy. So as far as like trying to get a nice clear profit activator number 5, right, is like the dream come true experience.
Yeah.
So sort of like getting that well defined is a sort of tough, because with like I said, because the Zen philosophy, it makes it like such a big cup that it's like a lot of things fit into that for different people. So it's like for some people it is the fitness aspect, for some people it is the discipline aspect, for some people it is just like as a hobby,
right?
So that's been kind of hard. It's also been kind of hard for me to pin down.
Yes, I can see that.
There's a lot of benefits, but they're kind of all like soft benefits. A lot of it is they're hard to like kind of quantify.
Right.
It's all kind of like quality of life. For the most part, it's all like quality of life stuff. Because they even say like, even if we were just talking about like self-defense, it's like, how do you quantify that?
Yeah.
And, and especially like on a day-to-day basis, it's like most people will never in their whole life actually need those skills. So it's very difficult to quantify.
Right, exactly. And you're absolutely right. But it's like there's a confidence level, and that carries over in a lot of ways. I mean, that's really where, if you look, that's where karate has done a kind of great job with children, teaching that as like the core things that people learn in karate of discipline and respect and confidence, and those kind of things that give children an edge, kind of thing. So when you're looking at the adults, you're looking at these 35 to 55-year-olds that if you're taking like high net worth people, perhaps like executive type of guys, or what would you say would be the the occupations that these guys are in?
Yeah, it's usually one of two branches. It's either, like, for the most part, everybody's college educated, and it's either, they're either in middle management somewhere, or they're in the body working industry.
And what does that mean, body working industry?
Like either physical therapy, massage.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Practices like that, like physical sort of therapeutic massages, because of that awareness factor, the improved sensitivity of touch and stuff that comes out of our practices.
Yeah.
They quite often feel that it improves their ability as a therapist.
Yes. Gotcha. That's an interesting thing right there. If you're saying that's kind of who natural is, that's who's naturally kind of gravitating towards you.
Yeah, so our demographic, like age-wise and education, everything is going to be split probably 60-40. So it would be like the 40% is involved in some kind of, like I said, either massage, physical therapy, acupuncture, something like that, and then the other 60% probably is involved in like middle management in some capacity.
Right. Gotcha. Okay. So I think that it's kind of like it's kind of made for some Facebook advertising in a way that it's very well. Certainly, you're probably already doing the pay-per-click stuff. Are you, or not yet?
I experimented with some of it, and it didn't go too well because I didn't have my 8 profit activators sorted out, and so I pulled back from that until I had things put together to be able to do it properly. But by and large, I would agree that it's like our audience is on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And then also YouTube, which has been actually a really high performing tool for gathering leads, actually.
Oh, that's great. And do you have, this is part of what I was going to ask you, is do you have the cameras rolling while you're doing classes, or because I think that's kind of the thing of getting awareness of it, and people can see what this is actually like. Is it when you look at it, is it because just describing it right now, I have no idea like what this might look like, right? Because I don't have a context for what I Liq Chuan is. If you say a name brand sort of, and I use name brand as like a higher awareness martial art, that if you say karate, I've got this vision of, I know what that environment looks like, right? There's people with their uniforms and their belts and their in that kind of a environment on the mats in a bright kind of environment. If you say jiu-jitsu, I've got a different kind of there's a different vibe. And MMA has an even different vibe, right? I see that as like, you get this environment that I might be scared to go into an MMA training place, right? No, I'm just saying like how people, if you just paint that visual image for them, is what would be the environment that we're talking about here. If you can kind of take the mystery out of that for people, is it a fun environment? Is it a quiet and disciplined or more zen, like hushed tones kind of environment? Is it a
it's more fun.
Yeah.
And Because our main partner practice we call spinning hands, and it looks pretty unique when you see it. And so yeah, we have made quite prolific use of video.
Perfect. Yeah, because I think that's part of it, right? Like if you have those kind of trailers, like a video trailer, I think that's some of the best opportunity right now. Certainly is the YouTube video ads to a localized audience. And I've been doing a lot of experimenting lately with local Facebook ads and doing gift cards as a thing to get somebody to download, like for opt-ins, because, and what I've found, it's amazing the difference between a $100 gift card and 20% off, even when it's the same thing.
Right.
Which is really interesting. If it's a $500 service, that saying 20% off is very different than giving somebody a $100 gift card. Because it's like a token that they can take that now, just in case they decide that they want to do that in the future. And so Profit Activator 2 is all about just getting people to raise their hand and make some kind of, compel them to take some kind of action now to turn themselves from an invisible prospect into a visible prospect. Right. So if you're combining, you may have to combine and cycle and add, if you take a group of people, like if you just take, a small group in Tempe, within a certain radius of Tempe, you get an audience of your 35 to 55-year-olds with certain income or occupation or whatever. And if there's any, I think I would go that broad for you right now, because you're in a local market. We're not looking to narrow it down. We want to kind of build that awareness, right? So if you're showing up in people's news feed initially as something that is, you're kind of building that awareness for what it is, and you're making that, some kind of an offer for a free class, and that free class may be a good start into the 2-week trial.
Well, actually, yeah. And what I was going to say was I had come up with some gift cards. Okay. So I do have gift cards that I could, I could run an ad campaign where that was the cookie.
Yep, perfect. And I think that's a good. That's been for me a very successful thing is offering a gift card using the Facebook lead ads, where people can just click to get it, because they don't have to enter in their email. They don't have to do all that. It's very, just fits in the compulsion model, where they don't have to consciously think. It's like super liking in a way, right? It's as easy as clicking. They just click, and then they see the thing. There's your email. Here's your name. That's what they're going to get. Okay, download your gift card.
Right. So they're a digital gift card.
Yes, exactly. Right.
Okay.
Now, and that would be a very easy thing for you to test, and any of these tests that we're doing here, like you're looking at, a $20 or $25 test, you can know in 24 hours, you could say, listen, I'm going to do a $20 test for the next 24 hours. I'm going to offer these 35 to 55-year-olds within 3 miles of my exact location here. I'm going to offer them a gift card. That is that would be a really good starter test for you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, that sounds great. I think that's so I think sometimes it's like we have a tendency to overthink things and you miss like the simple solution.
I get it. And that's where like all of this stuff of bringing it down to, let's just look at what the mechanics of it are, like really, really take away the specifics, and it's no different mechanically and logistically than a fitness boot camp or a tennis camp or a golf instructor or anything with a physical location that has a membership kind of model to it,
Right.
Have you tested pricing? Because that seems pretty low for...
It is low. I actually just recently raised my rates, and then I'll be raising them again sort of I was listening to Bedros Keuilian, and he was just talking about how, like you shouldn't raise rates on existing members, but you raise your rates and then as you bring in new people. And so that's kind of the model that I'm working towards now, to where, within about a year or 18 months, I'll be doubling my rates.
Right. Which sounds more in line with what other options, like even if you went to one of Bedros's boot camps, or the fitness boot camps are more than that, right?
Right. Yeah. So, probably like right at the $100 to $120 a month mark is pretty much industry standard.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I would say, getting to that level, I don't know that. I don't know that there's any. I would maybe do that kind of as fast as you can. What would be because somebody coming new, they're making that decision. You've already got enough that it's active and that it's a going thing. So people are going to see it, right? So rather than, and we've only got, 60 or 80 slots left, right? So when you look at it, if you're going, and I agree with it, that you're not going to raise rates on the existing members, is why not? Let's see how high is high here.
Right.
Especially when you're going to start, when you have to factor in a cost of acquisition, right? You've got to have some level of, we got to pay for these ads.
Right.
Yeah. Because that's the other question, right? Like if we're detaching your before unit from the during unit, by the time you take in your time and your overhead on the cost of actually delivering, keeping the lights on and delivering and running the business of it, if we look at the before unit as a supplier to your during unit, right? You were looking at a time where once you get to a certain, once we get it full, you don't have an unlimited supply of what you've got, right? You've got to get to full, and then you just keep that. I think you could probably keep that going by referral, orchestrating referrals within your group,
Right. And that's actually why I had come up with the gift cards initially, was to use them as part of the Profit Activator 8. So perfect.
I think this is good. I think you got a good start here, good understanding. What would you say, based on what we talked about, how's your kind of recap of what we talked about? What kind of insights?
The big takeaway for me was, again, just not to overthink it and kind of use those gift cards as another cookie, and then also to be able
I'm
to,
wondering about
I need to raise my rates.
Yeah, I think you need to do that like right away. I don't think you need, because it's it's the same awareness, right? I mean, people are, you're still going to have to, it's not going to be the price that's going to, especially when we're talking about the difference between, 60 or 100.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And also just sort of one thing that sort of solidified for me during the course of our conversation was that profit activator number 3 is actually going to overlap in my case with 4 and 5, because like what we were talking about is that, a lot of time in a general sense, like the general population, they don't necessarily know the differences between the different martial arts anyway. So it's like, it's your chance, once I get them in the door with the right cookie is my chance to continue the process of educating them over time until.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's valuable. Because, that's really, and you've already got, kind of your, it's kind of there, set it and forget it in a way, right? Like you can start somebody on that sequence that goes in there, and that's once a week.
Then once they would convert over into like a member, then I have an additional email that goes out to members only that has like more information in it. That's for members only.
I like it.
Yeah, and that goes out on a different day. Yeah.
I think that I think that free class or how is your gift certificate for a dollar amount or for a specific like for a free class, or how do you work it out?
Right now it's a dollar amount. So the right now I'm calling it as a 10 class gift card.
Okay. Oh, that's nice. Yeah. That's good. So yeah, because that would mean somebody could come. They could come every day for 2 weeks, right? That's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And I almost think like you could have, how Groupon does these kind of like awareness, like if you're thinking about it as something that somebody could try out if they've been thinking about, doing a martial art or doing something to show what that actual environment looks like and offer that, free. Think about it as an experience kind of thing. I think that's good. I think because that's where they are right now. The good thing about local businesses is that where everybody is. Where your clients are, right? It's all the 35 to 55-year-olds in that within a range of Tempe.
Right, and that was one of the things was that because they were, like I said, we're struggling with some of the cookies because they're invisible prospects.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like trying to figure out the cookies to get them to be able to like raise their hand and identify themselves. It's been a struggle before now.
Yeah, I think that's good. Part of the thing about the using Facebook on that local side is that you have to kind of cycle them through because you're showing the same ad to the same people over. It's not a bottomless pool, right? So it starts out you're showing it to people for the first time, and there is if you take the pool of them, you take the big pool of all of those, all the people who would qualify in your group there, that some of them, if they knew about it, this is exactly what they've been thinking about doing. Right. So when you come out of the gate, if your their awareness is, wow, that's right down the street. Right. They're thinking to themselves, oh, wow, that's, I should try that out. Well, looky here, a free class, Right. It's kind of cool thing. And I wonder, 10 classes maybe. I would experiment with just like having it as an event kind of thing, or maybe even do specific like new, steer new people into a specific class,
Right, like maybe doing like a half day, like a free half day workshop or something on a Saturday, something like that.
That's exactly right. Yes. Or then you've got the opportunity to paint the picture and get somebody kind of onto it.
Right.
That's a great idea, right?
Okay. Awesome.
Well, that's good. So I think you're ready to maybe even test that, but I would certainly use your existing members first and say, I'm going to do a class. I'm doing an intro workshop on this, throw your hat over the fence, whatever Saturday that is, and have them give them something to give to their friends, to somebody who can come to start to build that referral culture into.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's great.
Okay.
Well, Ash, thank you for sharing. It was great to hatch some real schemes. I think, it's going to be a very, the things that we talked about, even though it's for a very narrow niche, the actual things that we talk about apply to so many different businesses, and that's what I think the common thing that people are finding with More Cheese, Less Whiskers, that they're listening to certain episodes and thinking, well, what's going to happen here? But then you realize, wow, that's totally applicable to me too.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Awesome. So it's been definitely an education.
Well, thanks, Ash. It's been great talking with you.
Oh, thank you for your time, Dean. It's been great talking with you, and I look forward to following the future episodes of More Cheese, Less Whiskers.
Awesome, man. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
And there we have it. Another great episode, and a really great, I think, to come to that conclusion of just focusing your attention, especially as a local business, on getting people to experience what you have to offer for the first time. And so I think that that's going to be a really cool experiment for Ash to test out the Facebook ads and see how that can work to bring people in, especially when you only need a small number of people to fill your practice. Sometimes it's less expensive to get people the result than it is to convince them to give you money to get the result. So if part of it is getting people into your experience, it's often less expensive to invite them to come and have that experience for free. So I think that if you're in a situation where that might work for you, I'd love to hear what's going on for you. If you'd like to be a guest on our podcast here, you can go to morecheeselesswhiskers.com. You can download a copy of the More Cheese, Less Whiskers book, and you can click on the Be a Guest link. And that will bring you to a place where you can tell me about your business, and maybe we can see about having you on the show to hatch some evil schemes. If you want to see where the profit activators fit for your business, the best place to start is at profitactivatorscore.com. And you can get a copy of our Profit Activator Scorecard and 2 books. We have our Breakthrough DNA book, which shows you 8 profit activators that you can use to grow your business, and the Profit Activator Scorecard book, which will amplify and explain how your score works out. So profitactivatorscore.com. That's it for this week. Look forward to sharing another episode with you next week.